Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the athletic fields here at Milford High School as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Coed on the call, and we continue our coverage of the fall sports season. Today we have the boys soccer team as the Scarlet Hawks take on the visiting Foxboro Warriors in a late season Davenport Division showdown. A very important game for both of these two teams in the standings as we get down to the final weeks of the regular season. Our first time covering this boys soccer team since much earlier on in the year. A lot has transpired for this team, and Milford has been very competitive in the Davenport this year. Coming into the contest today, Milford has an overall record of 6-5-2, an identical 6-5-2 record within league play. So right now, they are in the playoff picture. As a matter of fact, they need just 4 total points through the end of this season to qualify for the playoffs. So 4 points total in their final 5 matches of the season, including this game here this afternoon. So certainly an attainable goal for this Milford team, hoping to get back to the playoffs for the first time since 2013. A nice push-up field for Joey Madden right there, but eventually was bumped off the ball. Now a nice pass ahead by Milford as they look to attack from right to left. Trying to spring free for a shot on goal was Wallison de Oliveira, who of course has been one of the major storylines for this team throughout the season. The development of the sophomore de Oliveira as a prime scoring threat, not only on this team, but in the Hockomock League amongst the league leaders in goals scored. More on him as the match goes along. Right now still in the opening 2 minutes of play. Milford trying to be aggressive here early on. Notched a victory against Foxborough earlier in the season. This pass into the box is headed away towards the corner. Getting to that one first for Foxborough was one of their senior captains, Ryan Kelly. And Kelly will boot this ball high in the air out past midfield. Joey Madden gets to it. As always, Madden, one of the quickest accelerators out there on the field. Quickly turning defense into offense. And it will be Madden now with the toss in on the far side of the field as Milford continues to carry play here early. But Foxborough also coming into this match with some momentum, as this ball will end up kicking over the goal line. It will be a goal kick for the Warriors. Foxborough coming into this afternoon's competition winners of their last 4 straight, and also winners of 5 out of their last 6. Most recently a 2-0 victory on the road over Stoughton back on October 17th. Good goals scored numbers over that time span for the Warriors, as we see a very early timeout called here. Still 37 minutes and 16 seconds on the clock, so taking an opportunity to talk things over early. Foxborough quickly back out on the field after the conversation with their head coach. Joe Franchino, the head coach for the Warriors. And Coach Edwards finishing up the conversation with his group as they march back out onto the field. But as we mentioned a moment ago, very good offensive numbers for Foxborough over this current 4-game winning streak. 14 goals scored in total over the course of those 4 games. They notched back-to-back 4-0 shutouts against Attleboro and Sharon. And then a 4-3 victory over non-conference Milton before that 2-0 win over Stoughton. So they have been playing some of their best soccer of the season at the most crucial time here in the backstretch of the regular season. As Milford once again carries into their attacking side of the field. Moving the pass forward, Tiago Carvalho. Foxborough will take over in the corner. A couple of passes up the far sideline, and the ball eventually kicks out. Possession stays with the Warriors, who try now to get their first action on their offensive side of the field. Luke Capobianco, of course, in net once again for Milford. He's had a fine season. Bobby Harrison, the senior, in net for the Warriors. A couple of senior goalies on the roster for the Warriors, Bobby Harrison and also Breno Silva. But it does appear to be Harrison getting the start here today. Right on cue, sending it just out to the 50-yard line. Foxborough is able to move it along, but they cannot keep it in play. Foxborough with 31 total goals scored on the season coming into the game here today. Of course, that season total has taken a significant uptick just in these last 4 games alone. Milford on the season has scored 20 goals. They've allowed 19. Booming kick forward, but Milford able to answer it on the defensive line, courtesy of Tiago Carvalho once again, Tiago Philadelpho. Joey Madden trying to settle that down, but Foxborough moves forward on the attack. Good footwork displayed by Dylan Barrera, the sophomore. And now Foxborough carries it in towards the box, but the whistle late for the offsides. And you can see a little bit of a tough sky over there right in front of the Milford net for Capobianco. He was shading the eyes a bit as he tried to track down that loose ball. You can see the sun streaking in front of the Milford goal. Plenty of sunshine on the Foxborough side as well, with some shadows creeping in right around that 30-yard line on the Milford attacking side of the field. Much earlier sunset time now than when we covered this team last back in early September. So we'll see those shadows continue to creep out onto the field as this match goes along. Still 34 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first half. As Milford tries to spring free, trying to absorb that ricochet was Claudio Da Silva. And now Foxborough with some space, able to work it around Madden. Now finally guiding it away in dangerous territory. Andre Oliveira able to make the defensive play. And now quickly upfield, Joey Madden passes it on. De Oliveira back there, but defensively for Foxborough, Cameron Cass able to clear it as far as the midfield. Certainly no missing Wallace and De Oliveira when he's involved in the play. An intimidating target out there on the field. Good size matched with good athleticism. There is no surprise that he has emerged as one of the real stars of the league this year. He steps into the action now before dishing a pass on to Madden. Trying to loop it down the far sideline. The only other game we've had a chance to take in so far for this boys team, as we mentioned, much earlier on in the season, it was Milford's second home game of the year back on September 13th against Taunton High School. It was a close game, but the Tigers able to score 1, and that was the difference in a 1-0 loss for the Scarlet Hawks. Milford able to bounce back after an early 2-game skid to open the year. They ended up having their best stretch of the season after that, 4 straight victories from September 13th to the 26th. As this ball ends up rolling free towards the corner, Foxborough able to guide it out to the sideline. So no corner kick this time for the Scarlet Hawks, but Madden a chance for the toss in deep. And ends up sending it right into the hands of the Foxborough keeper, Harrison. No score about 9 minutes into this first half action. This game taking place on October 19th. And still overall, we've been experiencing some pretty mild temperatures as we've gotten deeper into this fall season. Foxborough will track that down in the corner, trying for the centering pass, but Capobianco will cover it up. Temperatures at game time here today, hovering right around 70 degrees, so comfortable conditions. And so the fans that have shown up here for the game today, not having to bring out the heavy jackets, not quite yet. Foxborough again advancing from the midfield. Now it's Barrera who will shoot it. Checking in with Capobianco. Luke, as always, a bit theatrical with his moves out on the field, but certainly effective in net at the same time. So style points for the keeper on the Milford side. Foxborough with some space here. The defense closing in, and the centering pass just offline, but the second chance is there for the Warriors, and an early goal scored will put Foxborough on top by a score of 1-0. You can count the goal for number 17, Hussein Kafel, and that gives the Warriors the first goal of this match, just about 9.5 minutes in. Just one goal scored total the last time these two teams played, and it was scored early on. At the 11-minute mark, Milford able to score in Foxborough earlier this season, and that was the one and only goal scored. So Milford hopes that is not a trend that continues here this afternoon after Hussein Kafel was able to put Foxborough on top. One of the seniors on this Warriors roster, as Foxborough again able to move upfield, trying to steal momentum here after the goal scored. And now another good pass forward, but this time the Milford defense able to stay close. This one looped in towards net. Capobianco was there. It didn't end up quite reaching him. Foxborough trying to feed Ryan Kelly in close to the net. Again, the ball goes in Kelly's direction, able to move around one defender, but Milford now able to guide the ball out of danger, and sending it out of play was Philadelphia, excuse me. Foxborough poking that one out of play. Milford will toss it in. So for Hussein Kafel, that was goal number 5 of the season. Their leader in goals scored is Shane Vandenboom with 8 goals. Also has 6 assists for a total of 14 points. That's second most in the Hockomock League. Vandenboom, a junior, number 9. So certainly someone to watch out for on the field as the game progresses. Foxborough trying to save this one right at the goal line, but that one trickles out. And Capobianco will be able to send it downfield. 27:57 on the game clock for this first half. And a 1-0 lead right now for the Warriors. Flurry of activity in front of the net on that Hussein Kafel goal. The initial centering pass just offline for its intended target, but Kafel was there in good position. Ball ended up on his foot, and he did not miss. Once again, Milford trying to get it to their goal-scoring leader. And talking to Coach Edwards before the game, he, of course, anticipated that Foxborough would pay close attention defensively to Wallace and De Oliveira, so wanting to see other contributors on offense, as again, this Foxborough team getting themselves in good position in front of the Milford net. This one will bend over towards the far corner. It's Caffell there to play it, trying to get around Joey Madden. A little too far out in front on that pass attempt in the corner. It will go out of play. Coach Edwards saying that he felt that this was a game potentially with some opportunities for Claudio Da Silva should Foxborough overcommit defensively to limiting De Oliveira as the game goes on. Milford just able to keep that one from going out of play. Again, Wallace and De Oliveira able to get there but couldn't secure it down. Foxborough sliding over to the near sideline, but that ball went out of play as Dylan Barrera came over to play it. Hawks trying to answer back. So plenty of time left in this first half. Tossing down the sideline just over the head of Shane Vandenboom. Now working hard in the corner is Barrera. Getting it back to Vandenboom, who now guides it away. Looking to hit Nick Beagle. The ball eventually into the hands of the keeper, Luke Capobianco. Sends this one far down the field, getting it all the way over to the 30-yard line on the Milford attacking side of the field. But an exchange of kicks, as it turns out, for the two keepers, as Bobby Harrison now delivers it back to the opposite end of the field turf here in Milford. Hawks with a series of substitutions waiting to come onto the field. Heider Silva, Bruno De Oliveira, among them waiting to check back into the game. Exactly 24 minutes on the game clock. Milford with the early momentum over the first 10 minutes did not ultimately result in any prime scoring opportunities, and then Foxborough, after the goal scored, they have really controlled play. And now finally the Milford substitutions able to come out onto the field. Freshman Leo Coelho getting into the action there briefly. Coelho scoring the first goal of his varsity career recently for this Hawks team. And another goal kick coming up for the Warriors as we come down closer to 20 minutes to play in the first half. Last season, both of these teams finishing outside of the playoff picture. Foxborough finishing the year at 6-9-4. Milford at 4-10-4. Both ended up in a tie for fourth place in the standings, but a different story to this point this year. Both teams over 500. Foxborough right now in second place in the Davenport by virtue of their 9-4-2 overall record. Milford in fourth place at 6-5-2. So the top four teams in the Davenport all on the plus side of 500. Over on the Kelly Rec side, Oliver Ames, Mansfield, and King Philip over the 500 mark. Most teams with right around 4 or 5 games left to go in the season. As it looks like we'll see another timeout called here, this time called by head coach Brian Edwards, stopping the clock with 21 minutes and 40 seconds to play. We'll take the timeout as well. It is a 1-0 score, Foxborough with the lead. And we will have more boys soccer action when we return next here on Milford TV. A lot of strategy being discussed throughout this first half. Timeouts called on both sides through the first 20 minutes of this first half. But right now it continues to be a 1-0 Foxborough lead as Milford tries to get organized here on their attacking side. Ball gets knocked loose from Leo Coelho. Now Foxborough trying to control. De Oliveira coming in to try to break things up, but now Foxborough will test the near sideline. Making a nice steal, Bruno De Oliveira. Coelho trying to time that pass, but Foxborough able to pick it off as Cameron Cass gets to it. Sends it back as far as midfield, and now Madden dumps back in. Coelho this time with a good athletic play to make the quick steal. Pass on the money towards Wallace and De Oliveira, but the keeper able to get there just in time. Milford fans hoping to see a little bit more of that kind of sequence as the half continues on, as we right now are approaching 20 minutes to play. Foxborough scoring their goal 9.5 minutes in. Milford trying to answer. The Hawks whistled here. Foxborough with the kick.
Wow, you are really, really old.
And a couple of bounces before that pass ends up hitting Dylan Barrera. Barrera's been active through this first half, a sophomore. One of just 2 sophomores on the varsity roster for Foxborough. They only lost 5 seniors from last year's team, so a lot of their varsity unit from last year is still intact. Milford fighting upfield, that's Heider Silva. And the whistle goes against Milford. Silva traveling quickly inside the box, but whistled, and now Foxborough takes over. Milford with a lot of opportunities to play here on their home field through this final stretch of the season. 5 games remaining on the schedule, with this one included. And 4 of those coming here in Milford. Right now, this is the first of 4 straight home games for the Hawks against Foxborough, Hopedale, North Attleboro, and non-conference Nipmuc before traveling on the road to Sharon High School in their regular season finale. So doing a lot of work on the road through much of the season and having an opportunity now to see some home action as that shot attempt buzzes up just over the net. So that shot was taken by Vandenboom. Foxborough close to doubling their lead, but the shot sails over the net and we stay at 1-0. With now 18 minutes to go in the half. Line drive kick for Capobianco was met initially by Ryan Kelly. 3 captains on this Foxborough team, Ryan Kelly along with Sean McNamara and Matthew Rangione. Here's Coelho now down into the corner, but the ball sent out of play on the near sideline by the senior captain, Matthew Rangione. Now Coelho right back to work, tries to center it up. Foxborough sends it back out towards the midfield. Milford back on it. Now back to Joey Madden and the defense. Madden trying to find Wallace and De Oliveira. Now the ball ping-ponging back and forth, that time getting a piece of Barrera, catching him by surprise. And now Philadelphia breaking up that pass upfield as the ball trickles out of play and then sent hard over towards the scorer's table. Kate Irwin, star female athlete for this Milford High School athletic program, a two-sports star, manning that scoreboard here today. Here's Coelho again, trying to find some space. Joe Cusack staying close defensively. This defense has been suffocating for Foxborough through this first half. Milford not able to get much going on the offensive side of the field as we come close to 15 minutes to play. A little miscommunication for Foxborough on that pass. They were able to regroup. Cusack now hitting Ryan Kelly inside. And now Hussein Kafel trying to release a quick shot, but Joey Madden able to get a piece of it, using his body to block the shot. Now in deep, Capobianco able to get one hand on it and then secure it in towards his chest. That came in on him in a hurry. But Capobianco, calm as always, able to make the save. And now Coelho tripped up, no whistle. Now into the corner, Wallace and De Oliveira giving chase. Rangione there as well. Definitely a size difference in that matchup, and De Oliveira a little bit too aggressive as he came in towards Rangione, gets the whistle. Milford trying to build their attack again from the midfield, but Foxborough picks off the pass. Now more hard contact as Kafel ends up down on the turf, a little bit ginger as he gets up, at this time no whistle. These two schools playing an extremely entertaining football game on this very field back last Friday night. If you did not have a chance to witness it here live, I encourage you to head over to our YouTube page, My Milford TV. We've got our full game coverage up there as we speak. Game that went right down to the final play. We've seen a lot of Foxborough athletics as this fall season has gone on. We also covered a girls' soccer matchup between these two schools earlier this season. And these two schools matching up on the volleyball court as well earlier this week. We were not there, unfortunately, for it, but Milford with a 3-sets-to-none sweep over the Lady Warriors. Now here's De Oliveira, 2-on-2 upfield with Coelho. Reinforcements arrive quickly defensively for Foxborough as Coelho now dribbles back out. Now a couple of defenders around him as he goes down hard. Milford will toss it back in with just over 12 minutes to play in the half. Still a 1-0 Foxborough lead. Madden sizing things up. Now the long toss in, and again sends it right to the keeper. That's the second time we've seen that, with Madden tossing it in deep on the attacking side, sending it right into the waiting hands of Bobby Harrison. This time the short lob for Madden to Heider Silva. Foxborough continues to advance now. The partial clear for Jake Balzerini. And just deflected out. Capobianco stretched out. Capobianco diving, but not making contact with that ball as it drifted out well wide to the right of the net. A whiff on the initial clear attempt for Foxborough, but eventually able to get the job done. Now to the far sideline from Madden, with Kelly over in the neighborhood. Madden again calm as always as he sends it back towards the midfield. And eventually out of play on the far sideline with 10:18 left on the first half clock. More subs coming in now for the Scarlet Hawks. Zach Brown, Claudio Da Silva, and Andre Oliveira all checking back into the game. Wallace de Oliveira ends up with it. Foxborough along the sideline, moves it forward. Brown again, able to get to it momentarily. And narrowly missing a chance to send that ball along Andre Oliveira. Foxborough on the move again. They leave it for Caffell. Poked back out. Now Foxborough sends it in, trying for the header. It was Ryan Kelly. Couldn't bend that one in towards the net. Foxborough's been very quick to react. And when the ball is on the move in their attacking side of the field, they are in position to send it towards Capobianco. Coach Edwards less than thrilled with the effort he saw out of his team in their most recent game. That was a 4-3 loss up at Canton. Milford had a lead early in that game. Allowed a couple of quick goals in succession to sort of change the dynamic of that game, and ultimately Canton able to win by that single goal margin. Wallace and De Oliveira was able to score a goal late to make it close, but Milford suffers the loss. This ball up for grabs. Desperation attempt. That time for Jordan Borges. This back to the net, trying to bend that one in towards the keeper, but no problem for Harrison to make the save. And upfield go the Warriors with 7:18 left in the first half. Both defenses sending it back and forth upfield. Madden has it again. This time keeps it on the ground, trying to shoot the pass ahead in the direction of Claudio Da Silva. And now in quickly towards the box with a chance for Shane Vandenboom, but Capobianco denies it. Now Brown to the midfield. Shy of Oliveira, who is waiting for the pass. Now the whistle going against Milford. The hometown fans not happy. Under 6.5 minutes to go. The kick taken by Dylan Barrera. And the header is sent just wide to the left of the net. This will take us under the 6-minute mark as Capobianco sets up for yet another goal kick. Foxborough lets that go over the far sideline. Will Reagan there. Can Milford get something going in their offensive end before the end of this half? It has been very little offense to speak of. Strong defensive game for the Warriors through this first 40 minutes. Now, bit of a push there by Cameron Cass, getting away with it. Foxborough keeps it in that far sideline. Now moving it ahead. Kelly leaves it behind, and that allows Milford to get the clear back out towards midfield. Now De Oliveira trying to find Andre Oliveira. Another whistle against the Hawks as Foxborough's Matt Garcia was a bit slow to get up. Reagan takes the kick, sends it right on the money in towards Barrera. Now drifting out to the near sideline. Milford can't clear it, but it will roll over the goal line. Last touch by Foxborough as we head down to 3 minutes and 30 seconds to play in half number one. Looks like Wallace and De Oliveira will get a breather here through these final minutes. He heads to the bench for the first time. And Coelho now shooting a pass up ahead for Oliveira, but good closing speed for Rangioni. He gets there and sends it out of play. Toss to the corner. Oliveira gets it back. Poked out again by the Warriors. Maybe the foot going over the sideline for Oliveira as he sent that toss in. So Foxborough now will have a chance to send it back downfield, and frustrations continue here in the first half for the Scarlet Hawks. It's Coelho almost breaking free. Milford a chance to set up for the kick, as this will take us down under the 2-minute mark. Tiago Carvalho lining up for it. Liner into traffic. Redirected over towards the far sideline, racing for it, Jordan Borges. Ends up out of play, and Foxborough will toss it back in. Final seconds unfolding of this first half. Play clogged up right at the 50-yard line. Now Milford trying for one last strike upfield, but Foxborough denies. The ball eventually drifts out of play, last touched by the Warriors. Milford trying to hustle. Another chance to toss it in. Foxborough. Now Milford and Foxborough going back and forth right in front of the Warriors bench. We'll give and go for Tiago Carvalho. Gets it back. Trying to clear himself of defenders. Now the ball ends up back towards Nuno Mestre. But eventually turned over. That drifts up and over the head of Shane Vandenboom. And there is the final whistle. So Milford unable to get a shot away late. And the end of a frustrating opening 40 minutes for the Scarlet Hawks as they trail Foxborough here 1-0 at the half. Both teams will have a chance to talk things over, and we will be back with second half action in just a moment. You are tuned in to Milford High School boys soccer right here on Milford TV. Welcome back inside the field here at Milford High School. Second half action now getting underway between the Milford Scarlet Hawks and the Foxboro Warriors in this boys soccer clash. Late in this 2017 fall sports season. And Milford entering into the second half, trailing Foxboro by a score of 1-0. The lone goal scored in this game happened about 9.5 minutes in to the first half, with senior Hussein Kafel sending one past Capobianco for the one and only score to this point. Milford now attacking from left to right across your television screens as Foxborough quickly find themselves on the move offensively. Picking up right where they left off as they will check in with Luke Capobianco quickly to start the second half. Roller in towards net. Capobianco easily makes the stop. Take a look at some of the stat leaders in the Hockomock League as this second half goes along. I've already given you some of those numbers throughout the broadcast. But talking about Luke Capobianco specifically, comes into today's contest with a 1.33 goals allowed average. It's good for 6th in the Hockomock League. Foxborough's Bobby Harrison, a minuscule 0.82 goals allowed average. So two very good keepers on each side of the field in this one, and so far Harrison has not let anything by him. He has not been tested all that often so far in the match. We'll see if Milford can shake things up offensively here in the second half. The Hawks trying to avoid back-to-back losses. They have not lost back-to-back games since the very first 2 games of the season. Milford tossing it in on the far sideline. Foxborough trying to clear it out. Milford ultimately sending it out of play on the far sideline. It is North Attleboro, Foxborough, Canton, Milford, Sharon, and Stoughton in that order in the Davenport Division standings. Here on October 19th, Milford on the move, but the defense able to wrestle the ball away. Jordan Board just trying to keep it in. Now back to Madden. Now across midfield, leaving it behind was Ryan Kelly, the senior captain. Madden repositioning himself now. Since the long toss just over the leaping Leo Coelho. But the ball takes a hard ricochet down the opposite end of the field. Defense bringing it back up now. Still in the opening 5 minutes of this second half. So the defense doing a good job holding Foxborough's offense relatively in check. As we mentioned, really an offensive explosion in these last 4 games for the Warriors. 14 goals scored in their last 4 games. They also had a match earlier this season against the Stoughton Black Knights back on September 19th that Foxborough won 8-0. So this is an offense that can really explode in a hurry. It'll take a couple of bounces right to Capobianco. Sends another hard kick. Briefly back inside Milford's attacking end of the field, but now rolling down the far sideline and back out with 34-17 on the second half game clock. A couple of the losses for Foxborough from last season, standout players Anthony Barrera and also AJ Bubenchik. Both 4-year varsity starters for this team, cornerstone players, but overall not a lot of losses for this team, and the offense picking right back up again as they get the nice redirect off the kick, and they will double their lead now to 2-0. 6.5 minutes into this second half. Quick strike for the Warriors. So Milford now really needing to find a way to respond. Frustration really the name of the game on the offensive side of the field for Milford, but they're going to have to find a way to open things up now with the 2-goal deficit. Coach Edwards still very stoic on the field as he surveys his team now with the 2-0 score in Foxborough's favor. the whistle going against the Hawks as things continue to go the Warriors' way. Still a very long way to go in this second half with 32 minutes and 40 seconds still on the clock. Just feels like every time Foxborough gets the ball upfield, again, they are in position to send it in towards net. Capobianco's had his hands full. Now that one sneaks past Madden, but Milford able to regroup. And that one just past Wallace and de Oliveira. Foxborough can't quite clear. Andre Oliveira now hesitates. Gets poked off the ball, recovers. And now play down towards the corner where it's sent out of play by the Warriors. Tossing for Milford. Down to the top of the box, it drifts out. Just out of the reach of Claudio da Silva. And now right back downfield for Foxborough. Capobianco aggressively playing that one out of the box to clear it down to the midfield. Now here's Wallace and de Oliveira. One good move to get around a defender. Carrying the ball in now. Leaves it. Getting it back inside the box, drifting towards the far corner. A couple of defenders draped alongside. Now Leo Coelho. Coelho with some space. Now leaves it behind. That was a good idea for Milford, but Foxborough able to sniff it out. Sent in hard for de Oliveira, but a little bit too far out in front. The keeper able to play it. It's about the longest we've seen Milford sustain their attack so far in this game, but still not resulting in a goal on the scoreboard. Still 2-0 Foxborough now, over 11 minutes into this second half. Joey Madden lining up for the kick. He shields his eyes from the sun as those shadows now have crept further out onto the field. Most of Milford's attacking side now is in shadows. As part of that 2-0 win Foxborough enjoyed over Stoughton back on the 17th. So a goal scored by both Shane Vandenboom and Ryan Kelly. Of course, Milford in their most recent game back on October 16th. That was the game in which Leo Coelho scored his first career goal on the varsity level. But Milford's defense ultimately allowing 4 in that 4-3 defeat. And Milford still in search of that first goal here today with 28:08 on the game clock in the second half. A 2-0 Warriors lead. Win for Foxborough would be their 10th overall on the season. A loss for Milford would put them even in terms of wins and losses. Coming into this match overall on the season at 6-5-2. Milford trying to get back to the playoffs for the first time since 2013, a 4-year absence from the playoffs. Here's Coelho. De Oliveira now with it. Getting it back to the freshman, and he is tripped up. And that draws the whistle as Coelho appears to be in some pain. Freshman favoring the right shin. Clock continuing to roll under 27 minutes as Coelho is able to get to his feet. So a big play coming up here for the Scarlet Hawks. Prime chance to cut into the deficit. De Oliveira on the penalty shot. And he gets it past the keeper. And so finally, Milford able to generate some offense. The whistle after the hard contact against the freshman Coelho, and De Oliveira able to net the penalty shot. And that cuts it to a 2-1 margin with 26:24 to play. Foxborough gaining a lot of momentum off of their first half goal scored. Can Milford now start to build off of that scoring chance? Meanwhile, the goal scored for Wallace and De Oliveira, that now puts him up to an even 10 goals scored on the season. So Milford now with 21 goals overall on this 2017 season. And 10 of them netted by De Oliveira. And Milford trying to force that one ahead, but too much contact. Kick taken by Cameron Cass. Milford able to deflect it. Ends up on the foot of Ryan Kelly, who blasts it up and over the net. Good to see athletic director Peter Boucher roaming the sidelines for this game here this afternoon. Missing from some of the recent sporting events for Milford High School as he recovered from surgery.
Is that what, high school?
And that one gets past the defense. Capobianco slides out right to the edge of the box and is able to guide the ball out of harm's way. Heads up by the Milford keeper.
Closer than UMass. No, not at all. It's like an hour and 10 if you're in good shape for your travel.
The overall points leader in the Hockomock League coming into play today was Nathaniel Cardoza of Oliver Ames with 3 goals and 12 assists for a total of 15 points.
They're at that school you're talking about.
So terrific facilitator for that Tigers offense as this ball is just barely guided away from net. As we mentioned, Shane Vandenboom of Foxborough, second in points in the league with 14, combination of 8 goals and 6 assists. And Wallace and De Oliveira now with 10 goals and 2 assists for a total of 12 points. That'll put him in a tie for 4th overall in the league. we see our first corner kick of the match. It comes in from the far side. They keep it on the ground. And ultimately looked to be Joey Madden who sent it out on the far side. Another one lofted high up over the Milford net. A little bit of frustration released by Foxborough out on the field after that ball went very high over Capobianco and net. And Luke will send the ball away with 22.5 minutes remaining in the second half. Now a 2-1 score. Milford getting on the board after a successful Wallace and de Oliveira penalty shot. Foxborough to toss it in from just to the right of their bench. Good battle for Tiago Carvalho right along that sideline. Foxborough, good pass, and shooting that one past Capobianco. That was Matt Garcia, the junior, taking advantage of the quick pass. Good accuracy. A laser off the foot of Garcia, and that reestablishes a 2-goal lead for Foxborough, now at 3-1. That is how fast this Foxborough offensive attack can kick it into gear. And we'll see a timeout called here on the field. That stops the clock with 21 minutes and 37 seconds left to play. Milford had cut it to just a 1-goal deficit, but Matt Garcia giving Foxborough now a 3-1 lead. Midway through the second half action. We'll be back in a moment here on Milford TV. Back out of the timeout. It is now a 3-1 Foxborough advantage. Looking to even up the season series against the Scarlet Hawks after Milford was able to come away with a 1-0 win in Foxborough. Game taking place back on September 26th. Season series have gone back and forth over the years. Milford with a 3-2 win at home against Foxborough last season. The game in Foxborough ended in a scoreless draw. Then it was Foxborough sweeping the season series back in 2015, winning 3-0 and 4-0. Milford trying to come up with a response after the Foxborough goal, but it's again the Warriors pushing it ahead onto their offensive side of the field. Capobianco releases the kick. Takes a hard ricochet back in towards Foxborough's offensive territory, but now Milford clears it downfield. Wallace and de Oliveira giving chase, but couldn't catch up to it in time. Ball blasted out of play, ends up in the visiting bleachers. Foxborough in tight towards the box. Milford can't get the clear. Now it's Caffell trying for his second goal of the game. But Milford able to get a piece. Madden releases the pass. Coelho off the deflection, dumps it down into the corner, but that goes out of play. Instead, Milford with the free kick chance. Needing to take advantage of any opportunity they're presented with here as we get deeper into the second half. Carvalho, the low liner. Foxborough deflects. Back out to midfield. Zach Brown can't dump it back in. Back out of play again. Another toss in for Will Reagan. Now Coelho trying to use his speed, just could not get there in time. It trickles across the sideline. Freshman just a step late. Leo Coelho making the varsity roster right from the start of the season, the only freshman to make the starting varsity roster. He certainly made an impact. Milford needing more of an impact, trailing by 2 with now under 17 minutes on the clock. This has not felt like Milford has been able to get into any kind of rhythm out there. You certainly have to credit Foxborough and their defense and also that quick strike offense. Here's Coelho now, trying to find De Oliveira. And the whistle against the Warriors. De Oliveira trying to keep his feet to make something happen. Another free kick chance for Thiago Carvalho. And instead, it looks like it'll be taken by Wallace and De Oliveira. And right on a line and covered up by Bobby Harrison. Looked like maybe that ball was going to squirt out for a rebound chance, but Harrison able to hold on. Another opportunity, and Milford is unable to cash in on. As we look ahead to what Milford has still coming up on their schedule. As we mentioned in the first half, a lot of home games. And also a couple of primetime games as well. Milford's next matchup coming on a Saturday night game This Saturday, October 21st, game here at home against Hopedale, kicking off at 7 o'clock. Then it's a home match against North Attleboro at 3:45 on October 24th. Then a non-conference matchup with Nipmuc at 6 p.m. on October 25th. So back-to-back games next week for Milford before closing out the regular season on the 27th against Sharon High School. So a week from tomorrow, the regular season will be over for the Scarlet Hawks team. Hussein Kafel trying to get into position. Milford's defense closes in. Now very calmly played defensively by Matthew Rangione. This time up over Rangione's head. Clock continuing to roll, 12:52 on the second half game clock. Coach Edwards wanting to see his team ramp up the intensity here for a late surge in the second half. Here's Madden now trying to hit Coelho. Just nearly able to wrestle that ball free with Silva. Foxborough still very calm and confident out there on the field with a 2-goal lead. Milford plays it back to the defense. Shoot it up the far sideline. Oliveira could not keep it in. Substitutions now for the Warriors. Round of applause for the Foxborough fans in attendance for Joe Cusack, the sophomore who heads to the sideline. So a good contingent of Foxborough fans making the trip up for this match this afternoon. Bumped ahead right in to Bobby Harrison, the Foxborough keeper. Only big test for Harrison in this game to this point was the penalty shot, which he did allow for Wallace and De Oliveira for the only Milford goal up to this point with 10.5 minutes to go. Deep kick by Joey Madden, well placed. Milford going up trying for the redirect in off the header. Go under 10 minutes now, 9:44. Foxborough taking their time here. Keeper Harrison drawing Milford in, eating every second off that clock before ultimately picking up the ball and sending the kick back out to the midfield. Good passing for the Warriors. They're able to find Kafel now in the corner. He tries to center it up, but Jake Balzerini back there defensively for the Scarlet Hawks. It'll be a corner kick. On the ground, Joey Madden able to get a piece. Hyder Silva shaken up at the end of that play. Milford boots it back downfield with 8.5 minutes to go. Joey Madden getting repositioned by the officials before he sends the toss in, gets it to Coelho. Now right back to Madden. Tries to find De Oliveira through the crowd. Now the clear for the Warriors. And a good head of steam for Hussein Kafel all the way down to the corner. Sends it in towards the net, but drifts out to Capobianco's right. 7.5 minutes. Milford trying to find something here late. Foxborough looking to hold on to a key late season division win. Foxborough with the highest scoring offense in the Davenport division, with their 3 goals here today. Now 34 goals scored in total on the season coming into today. Canton, the second highest scoring offense in the league with, or in the Davenport division, I should say, with 28 goals scored. The overall Hockomock League leader in offense is Mansfield with 36 goals. King Philip also with 35, and Oliver Ames with 34. So those top 3 teams in the Kelly Rex division, all 3 of them offensive powerhouses. Oliver Ames over on the Kelly Rex side, a very good combination of good offense, quality defense, and strong goaltending. Scoring 34 goals, only allowing 9 goals on the season as that ball drifts dangerously in front of the goal mouth for Foxborough. Now the second chance effort again makes the difference for Foxborough as it looked to be Dylan Barrera as he gets congratulated by his teammates, and a dagger late in the second half as that puts Milford into a 4-1 hole. So for the second straight game, Milford will allow 4 goals. So this one feeling just about out of reach for the Scarlet Hawks at this point with 5.5 minutes left. Their only goal scoring opportunity cashed in on the penalty shot. Foxborough now with 3 goals in this second half. Milford coming into this match certainly hoping to at least be able to secure 1 point, if not 2, knowing they needed just 4 points in these final 5 matches of the year. But barring a major comeback here in the final 4+ minutes, they will end up allowing the 2 points to Foxborough here on their home field. So if that is to be the case, then both of these teams will have stolen a win on each other's home field this season. Foxborough clearing it out. Capobianco waiting for it. Lets it roll back into the box and then picks it up as we will now dip under the 4-minute mark. The whole field now fully encased in shadows as the final minutes of this game start to tick down. Goal kick for the Scarlet Hawks. Late substitution on the Foxborough side before we continue. Joseph Costa, a junior, out onto the field. He replaces Dylan Barrera, who gets another big round of applause from the Foxborough fans after scoring that late goal to give Foxborough a 4-1 lead. To be a little miscommunication there between De Oliveira and Andre Oliveira. To hook up for a pass again with 2.5 minutes to play. Back to the defense. Milford trying to advance for another look at Bobby Harrison in net. As Milford sends this kick downfield, we'll see the scoreboard drift under 2 minutes to play. As we have a Milford player shaken up after the play. Hyder Silva able to get back to his feet. Foxborough with another clear, more precious moments being taken off the clock here. So Foxborough scoring 4 goals in a game for the 4th time in 5 matches. And this appears to not be the team you want to play late in this regular season. They have found their groove on the offensive side of the field. As we look ahead at their schedule, only 2 matches remain in the regular season for Foxborough after this one here today. They will both come at Foxborough High School, a match on the 24th against Canton and then on the 26th against North Attleboro. And down to the corner, Milford cannot save it. As we wait for the final whistle from down at field level. Foxborough the short toss in to Caffell in the corner, guarded closely by Joey Madden. Madden losing his footing, stays in the play, and now there is the whistle, so that is that. Foxborough puts the finishing touches on an impressive effort here today. They score a goal 9.5 minutes into the first half to take a 1-0 lead. They score 3 times here in the second half, and ultimately the Warriors able to walk away from Milford High School with a 4-1 victory. The lone Scarlet Hawks goal came A little over 5 minutes into the second half, Wallison de Oliveira netting his 10th goal on a penalty shot. But all in all, a frustrating day for the Scarlet Hawks as they will now fall to 6-6-2 overall on the season. Foxborough with the victory, win their 10th of the season, now 10-4-2 overall on the year. So that will wrap up our coverage for this afternoon. A big thank you to Rob O'Keefe helping out on the coverage this afternoon, and I am Tim Coet. That final score, one final time, 4-1. Foxborough able to defeat the Milford Scarlet Hawks. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.